All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Ebonie, a.k.a. Fit Mom Diva of Simplicity Health Style, and today we have Miss Karina with us. How are you, Karina?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to share your story with us. We really do appreciate it. And for those of you that are listening, if you stay around until the end, you will have an opportunity to get a complimentary gift. So stick around and listen to all that Karina has to share with us today. Karina, start us off just by sharing a motivational quote that really gets you going, something that inspires you and motivates you into action.
So the quote that I want to share with you today, I actually got off of someone's Instagram. The person's name is @GraceForAshes. And strength grows in the moments when you think you can't go on, but keep going anyways.
Beautiful. And I always have to remind myself that, because there are times when I may lose motivation and steam, even though it's not necessarily apparent to other people, but I may lose motivation and steam. And I say, Ebonie, this is not just for you. This is for your community. So keep going with it. I love that. What is the Instagram name again? Because I think you had cut out there real briefly.
It's @GraceForAshes.
@GraceForAshes. Awesome. Tell us about a time where you can connect that quote with an experience in your life that maybe you were not able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you decided that even with obstacles that you were going to persevere and you were able to see that goal or that dream to fruition.
So there's actually 2 points in my life. The first point was when I started college. I actually wasn't sure what I wanted to do anymore, because for so long I wanted to be a pediatrician. So I went in as a bio major and I absolutely did not like it. I did not like learning about science anymore. I wasn't into math and I just felt really unhappy. And so I knew that I had to change my major into something that I would eventually enjoy. And so I started praying about it and I was asking God, I was like, oh my gosh, what do? I can't stay here for that long. And so it's funny, after I asked him, like, oh, what should I do? I was on Facebook scrolling through, and my cousin-in-law, she had posted a picture of her son who had just finished his speech therapy session. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And so I started researching speech therapists and like what they do. And I actually started to become interested in the whole thing, because originally I just really wanted to work with kids. Mm-hmm. I grew up teaching children's ministry, so that's where it all stemmed. And so, yeah. And then the second time is actually right now. I'm actually finishing my undergrad, and I'm trying to fulfill the next steps of becoming a speech therapist, or what we call a speech language pathologist. And it's just, I know I'm going to grad school. I know that I'm going to end up applying. It's just how to get there.
Yeah.
So
after you made that decision to become a speech therapist, did you have any moments of doubt where you said, well, I don't know, because I also have these interests over here, or it may be something that is a trendy career for the moment, but maybe I'll change my mind? The reason why I'm asking that is because when I used to work in a college career center, there were students that came in and they said, I thought this was the next major that was for me, but I've actually changed my major 5 times since I've been here. And that was such a consistent theme. Like, so many people have said to me that they thought that that was what they wanted. They changed their major. Their initial major was the major that their parents told them to do based off of what other people in the family had done and what they thought was lucrative. They were failing the subjects, especially the sciences. I would hear that quite frequently, where people would come in and say that, you know, I'm taking these pre-med classes and I'm failing all the subjects. I can't stand it. But my parents would say, well, if you're going to be in school and I'm paying for it, then you're going to do the sciences. You know? So were there any times like that in your life where you felt like maybe this isn't really for me? Or do you really feel like now that this is your thing?
I really feel like now it's my thing. I have developed such a passion and love for it. Just recently, actually, even going through it, I mean, like I said, I became interested in it, but it wasn't until I took an anatomy class where I was like, wow, this is amazing how the body just helps us with speech. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. What would you say to those people that they have not yet identified a career in line with who they are and their desires, and they don't necessarily know how to identify what that is, and they may not even have a whole lot of support or think they have a whole lot of support in their life right now to bring that goal to fruition? What kind of words of encouragement would you give that individual?
I would say if you really don't want to stay with the major you're in right now and you really feel unhappy, I just suggest that you try to figure out like what makes you happy and try to find a major or career path where you can bring all those things together.
Mm-hmm.
And because you don't want to stay somewhere where you're unhappy, because then you're just going to live your life doing that day to day and waking up doing it without any motivation or inspiration whatsoever.
Yes, and I often find that when people can think about things that naturally have lit them up since childhood, start thinking about those themes and how you can bring them into your life again. Because we often forget about some of the things that we loved to do when we were children. And if we take those activities and infuse them into a career opportunity that's right in front of our face sometimes, that right there is part of our direction.
Yeah.
I'm a trained career counselor, and I often help people with assessment tools to discover what themes are most prevalent in their life. And one of the things I've noticed is that even when they identify what that theme is, sometimes they're in a place where they have so many other responsibilities going on. They have, maybe depending on how old they are, they might have aging parents to take care of. They might have children to take care of. They may already be in a career that requires 40 plus hours a week of their time. And so they feel stuck where I have so much going on that I don't even think that I have the time, money, or the energy to even go to school and take a boatload of courses and have the commitment to it that is necessary to do well. So what would you say to those people that fall into that category where they really don't feel like they have the time, energy, and commitment level to it, although it's something that they really want to do?
I would say just try to take some time out of your day. Like maybe start with 15 minutes to try to figure things out, and then maybe 30 minutes. Because I understand, like, yeah, sometimes you can be busy, but it's important to take time for yourself.
Yes. Yes. And self-care is extremely important. And a lot of people realize that when it's too late.
Yeah.
When they are now working a job that is contributing to excess weight gain, excess acne, excess stress, then your relationships fall apart because you're just one big stress ball. I'm often telling people, based off of my experiences, that when we take care of ourselves, even when it is only 15 minutes a day, that little bit of time adds up over the end of the week. So you're spending 15 minutes a day over the course of 7 days in a week. You times that by the number of days in a month, and then the number of months in a year. And that's a lot of progress towards your individual goals. I often merge both my health and wellness background with my career counseling background. And what people don't realize is that in order to really live a fulfilling life, you need to also feel a sense of vibrancy within your body. and of course you're going to have some people that have chronic health conditions that they can't control, but when you can control it, you just having that vital energy within you based off of treating yourself well, getting enough sleep, and reducing stress to the best of your ability, and infusing in just that 15 minutes a day at the minimum of something that you really enjoy, you feel so much better. Some people take it as an all or nothing approach, and I don't believe that you have to do that. You don't have to say, I'm going to quit my job today so that I can pursue my passion in XYZ area. I don't think that that's 100% necessary. Baby steps is important too.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to people that feel like they don't necessarily have a strong support system in their area? So they don't necessarily have people that can help take care of their children. They don't necessarily have somebody that can help them financially, but they feel like they need that in order to get their momentum going.
I feel like you should join other groups that you're interested in, because they might have the same issues as you, or they probably share the same passions as you. So with that, you can find other people, new friends that you can lean onto and confide in.
Yes, and a lot of times those communities are right in our area. In my area, we have meetup groups that meet on a weekly or a monthly basis in specific topic areas. So if you had an interest in painting, for example, and you had some time where you could meet just one day a week or one day a month, or you are a mother or even a single mother and you want an opportunity to meet other people, sometimes stepping outside and saying, there are people that are very similar to me that I haven't met yet that can be of the utmost support. Because what I've often found with people is that they'll say, well, I just moved to this new city and I don't know anybody. And I'm like, well, get to know people, because your city probably includes millions of people, right? Depending on how large it is, thousands to millions of people. And I bet you that there are a handful of people that you could get to know that are very similar to you with similar interests. But I think that sometimes when we leave school, the school setting, college setting, we forget how to mingle with people and naturally attract friends. I don't think it's as difficult as what some people make it out to be. So stepping outside of your comfort zone and finding these like-minded communities and groups of people, sometimes you can find them online. Not something where you have to go out and start looking from building to building to find these groups of people. It's very easily done online, and then just simply show up. I've seen where certain activities were put together by people, and maybe like 2 people would show up. So I think that when you express an interest in doing something, actually show up. And even if it was only 2 or 3 people that attend, I went to an event one time before, and it was literally 3 people there. But those 3 people were dynamic people. And you don't need a circle of 20 people necessarily. If you have 3 close-knit type people that can really help support you, then that's all you need sometimes, Yeah. Tell us about your influence online, because you are influencing more than 3 people, right? But what is your influence on social media, and what was your intention behind it? Because I find that your page is just so awesomely put together, and I could just tell that you're passionate about wanting to connect with humanity.
Well, thank you. So at first I was really unsure about starting a blog, because I started the blog before I started my Instagram account for my blog. And I was really praying about it, and I felt God telling me to just go ahead. You have the go to start. And I was like, okay. So I was writing out my first ever post, and I was really nervous to post it. I was like, man, I don't know who's going to read this. It was just really nerve-wracking. And I finally did it, and I was really thankful that my family and my friends are really supportive of it. They had nothing but really kind words to say and encouraging words. And so I was like, okay. And I was talking to one of my other friends. She has a YouTube account, and she's also on Instagram. And I was like, girl, should I start an Instagram account for my blog? And she said, yeah, that's how you'll be able to reach more people. And I said,
Right.
okay. So I started it, and I'm still trying to get a little comfortable with, posting certain things for people I don't know, because for my personal account, I was okay with posting, my family on it.
Right.
And yeah, so it's just, I'm still getting used to it, and I feel like I'm starting to get a hang of it a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, and you all listening, she at one point in time didn't even want to post pictures of herself, and she's
Yeah.
like one of the most photogenic people on Instagram, probably. But that just goes to show you that when you step outside your comfort zone, and the more that you do something, the easier it becomes. I think that it's just like a muscle. You strengthen it over time, and it becomes easier, and you get stronger, and then you move on to the next thing that scares you. And that one is something that you overcome, and then you move on to the next thing. So I think in the process we all get stronger, and in the meantime you're impacting so many lives. I'm sure that there's people that are expecting your blogs now and expecting your posts, and if you don't show up, they're like, man, where's my inspiration for the day? So it's really one of those things that we do it for ourselves sometimes, but we don't realize the impact that we can have in other people's lives. Mm-hmm. And the significance and the life changes that sometimes people make. I don't know how many times people will tell me things like, you put out this podcast episode or this YouTube episode, and you wrote this blog article, and it inspired me into action to do XYZ. And I'm just simply living life and having fun, meeting new people, So I'm looking at it from that standpoint, but this is something that's actually impacting other people's lives in a positive way. So we need to continue doing it.
Yes, definitely.
What are your next steps? Do you have any significant goals or any ideas in mind that you would like to do beyond your master's degree?
So, man, right now for my blog, I wasn't too sure. I just started doing it for fun. But I'm hoping one day that I'd be able to speak at conferences. That would be really cool.
Awesome.
Right now, I feel like my target audience would really be junior hires, high schoolers, and college students, because I know that time, especially for high schoolers and college students, it's a little difficult just finding what you want to do, what you like, what you're passionate about, what you don't like. And I just want to be able to inspire that population.
Yes, and that's such a beautiful age to do that, because although they get some career development courses in school, it's not really enough for the pace at which they receive pressure from life to figure it out. So they are in middle school and they're told, okay, you're going to high school and you need to start thinking about what courses are going to set you up for the best success for college. And you're taking these courses thinking that they're appropriate for you, but you really don't know yourself yet. Then you get into high school and it's, okay, you got to start thinking about what college you're going to attend and what major you're going to be in. And you need to really get this thing figured out, because you're going to need to get a job soon. You might be out of your parents' house. You don't want to be working a $5 job, So there's just so much pressure on that age group. And I believe that is an age group that really is more so about self-discovery, but having fun at life too, without having to make a whole lot of real mature adult decisions.
Yeah,
you have plenty of time to make real adult decisions, so it's an element of fun that needs to be infused into those growth years as well. But I think that getting some foundational and really understanding what are the things that light me up, so that I can think about these being potential career opportunities is key, so that their mind is more focused in that direction. They don't start getting into trouble because now they don't really understand the direction that they have in life and any goals. I think that there needs to be some type of goal, even if it's not clearly defined yet. So that's a good starting place for that. So that's awesome that you want to work with that community. I really commend you for doing so. My son, is currently 11 years old, going on 12. And I would just love it if he was exposed to people that were able to talk to him about staying focused in life so that he's not out here doing all this crazy stuff in high school that some kids will get into and make their life a mess over the next couple of years, you know? So I think everything's a learning experience too with that. Yeah. But whenever you can have people that can give you some sense of direction and a positive encouragement, that's always a good thing. So yes, definitely go in that direction and help inspire people. You're very well spoken. So public speaking is one way to impact a community in a direct eye-to-eye way. We spend so much time on social media sometimes that we forget how to interact with people in person.
Yeah.
So, I think that's awesome that you want to impact people in person as a public speaker. I want for people to follow you. So I'm going to include all of your contact info in the description box. Those of you that are listening that want to see more of her journey and be a part of her story or collaborate with her, all her contact info will be in the description box. But can you just real quickly, Karina, tell us what your Instagram handle is or any other social media links that you just want to shout out real quickly?
So my Instagram handle is at Karina Rae Mag. It's KarinaRaemag.
All right. So Karina Rae, RAE, Mag, MAG. And as she develops in her journey, I will make sure to update you guys accordingly. But if you're looking for a community of ladies that are purpose-driven or on the road to being purpose-driven, and you want another community that you can interact with, you can join my Nutrition for Busy Women Facebook group. We don't just talk about nutrition from a food consumption standpoint. We're also talking about nutrition for our mind, body, and soul. And it's such an encouraging group of ladies because we're all in that mission of becoming more self-aware and being our best selves. So if you don't have anybody else out there that you can have support you in your goal and in your dream, or if you just need someone like myself that can offer you tools and assessments to help you become better aligned with who you are and what you need to do to showcase your individuality in this world, then you can connect with me as well. And all of my contact info will be in the description box. Don't forget, if you stuck around to the end and you do join that group, that you will get a complimentary gift. So if you are interested in connecting with me, I would love to invite you. You guys have an awesome rest of the day. Thank you so much, Karina. I really do appreciate your time. I know you're a busy girl, so I appreciate your time connecting with us today and sharing your successes and your challenges.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You guys have an awesome rest of the day, and I will talk to you in our next episode.